Hi there, my name is Henry Tenby. I'm a diehard aviation fan, and I'm also a big fan of the Martin Mars. Now, we all know that the Martin Mars operated as a water bomber for the last 50 odd years of its existence over on Vancouver Island at Sprout Lake. Now, the aircraft are no longer airworthy. I believe the two Martin Mars that were owned by Colson Industries are just sitting waiting for a museum to purchase them. I am always interested in Martin Mars news, and I recently found some very fascinating information that I had no idea about. Now, I think we all know that the Martin Mars water bombers were built during World War II to act as a troop transport, particularly in the Pacific Theater. After the war, the Martin Mars that were built by the Glenn Martin Company were repurposed and were reconfigured to be used as water bombers to fight forest fires. The information that I'm about to share with you is absolutely amazing. A friend of mine found a very old World War II era advertisement. It's a magazine advertisement from the Glenn Martin Company promoting the Martin Mars as a passenger-carrying aircraft, a luxury intercontinental airliner. And I had no idea that the Martin Mars was envisioned to be a passenger transport after the war ended. It was completely new information to me. It just knocked me on my backside because I had no idea that this information existed. I had no idea that these marketing plans were in place during the war. So I'm going to share it with you now, and I hope you find it as interesting as I find it. It's absolutely incredible.
This is the lead-in graphic. It features the entire aircraft nose to tail at a dock. Remember, back in the 1940s, airlines in Britain, and to some extent in the United States, still felt that ocean-going airliners that could land and take off on the water were the way forward of the future. The runways of the world weren't yet long enough to accommodate intercontinental aircraft, so this was the thought back then. This graphic is captioned, "Off to Europe via Martin Mars. When victory is finally won, you'll be taking that trip of your dreams, a 2-week holiday abroad." So that's it. They were dreaming of better times, and this aircraft, such a luxurious, huge intercontinental airliner, would fit the bill when life returned to normal after the end of World War II. This graphic depicts an ocean liner type boarding, passengers coming through the front door and going upstairs to the above cabins. That's what it looks like anyhow. But what this caption actually says is that, "So step aboard the Mars and look about. 2 full decks, spacious, air-conditioned rooms, courteous service, a flying hotel." Well, that's it. That's what they were trying to give the impression of, a flying hotel, a very large and magnificent aircraft with multi-decks, something that could be looked forward to once the war was eventually ended. And notice the bellman there in a hotel-style uniform carrying the passenger's bag. It's unbelievable luxury to be looked forward to after the war. I should add that air-conditioned cabins were a major luxury thing, certainly for ocean liners. So to be able to put that on a commercial aircraft was something for the future. This next graphic certainly gives the feel of a living room or hotel lounge or a hotel lobby of the 1940s. Note the passengers just relaxing as a bellman brings drinks. The caption on the graphic states, "Note the size, smartness, and comfort of the Mars Lounge. No cramped seats or narrow aisles. Plenty of room for walking about." So they're referring to narrow aisles on a train. So this would be a great improvement over what most people would be used to, which would be a cramped train, which of course would take a long time and not give the comforts that the Martin Mars would bring to air travel of the future. This graphic definitely has the feel of a dining car on a train. Here we have 2 passengers sitting down to meal service with a beautiful meal being served with wine and drinks on china. Just absolutely gorgeous. The caption under this graphic reads as follows, "A full-course dinner from the Mars Galley served by smiling stewards. Soft lights, gay laughter, and music. deluxe transportation. Well, it sounds fantastic, absolutely fantastic, and it would certainly hark to times that would be much better in the future after the end of the war. And this graphic appears to depict a lounge or bar scene. It could easily be a New York speakeasy, but in fact, it is what the Martin Mars would have to offer in terms of an after-dinner retreat for passengers. The caption says, after dinner, you'll want to explore the big ship. Here, for example, is the ultra-modern Skytop Room, a favorite rendezvous. Given the very long flight duration capability of the Martin Mars, it would be necessary for passengers to sleep aboard their flights. And this looks like a typical bedroom. Perhaps the bedroom not of a couple, but of children. But nonetheless, it has that appearance of a bedroom. And we have a bunk setup, up and lower bunk setup, much like a train, I guess you could say, from the 1940s or earlier. And the caption for this graphic reads as follows: your snug cabin is waiting when you're ready for bed. Nothing to disturb your slumber as the great ship speeds towards Europe and vacation. Notice the numerous repeating of the expression ship. The aircraft was an airship, an aviation ship, a ship of the air. Well, this was the terminology of the era. Well, they're using a Transatlantic Crossing to illustrate what's going on here. We have the passengers, husband and wife, peering through the window of the Martin Mars with London below, Tower Bridge below, the Thames River. So this shows that it is possible to have a very relaxing and luxurious transatlantic crossing in a lovely ship of the air, not an ocean ship, but an air ship in the form of the Martin Mars. This particular graphic is captioned as morning and you're there. Only a few hours have passed. Ahead lie days of sightseeing, adventure, thanks to the Martin Mars. In closing their very lavish presentation of what the Martin Mars could be for passenger travel after the war, they ask the question that everybody probably has on their minds, and that is this fantasy? Is it a long-range prediction? Not at all, they say. The plane shown here is flying today. It's a Martin Mars transport. True, today's Mars contained no luxurious furnishings. Every inch of space is indeed needed for war supplies. But commercial versions of these huge Navy transports will offer every comfort to tomorrow's trans-ocean travelers. So when you plan that trip abroad, plan to fly via Martin Mars, the Glenn L. Martin Company, Baltimore 3, Maryland. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. If you're enjoying this video, please do subscribe to my channel.
I was very lucky because I actually had a ride on the Martin Mars when it visited Vancouver, and I did produce a number of DVDs on the Martin Mars, and I got amazing footage, out the window view, and also cockpit view of the Mars as a passenger on the aircraft. So I'm going to drop a link to my videos here on YouTube on this video in the upper right hand corner, so you can click that and check them out as well if you find that interesting. Let me know. Look forward to your comments.